Again, Airbus Albo, as he's starting to be known, is again getting scrutiny over his overseas trips. The accusation is that he's spending too much time abroad, too little time worrying about the cost of living in Australia. There's a new report showing that nearly half of Australians say that they were in dire straits economically, skipping meals, unable to make their rent. Michael, do you think this is a problem for him, this perception that he's spending too much time away?
I don't, and never have criticised Australian Prime Ministers Albo, Rudd, whoever, for going overseas representing our national interests. I mean, he's been at very important meetings. He's met the Chinese president. He's met the British Prime Minister. He's been in a series of very important meetings with allies. I mean, I think it's important for the Australian Prime Minister to be represented, for Australia to be represented overseas by their Prime Minister. So, no, I'm not a critic of his trips. On the domestic front, yes, he's got serious problems here. As I've said to you many times, I think his government's going to lose. It isn't helped by him being away domestically because I think he's got a weak team behind him, and he's probably the most influential of the Labor cabinet ministers. And when he's not here, it doesn't help them.
Richard, you always say, as much as we disagree with you, that, people on the street, you think, have the view that Albo is a good guy and that you think he's going to win no problem at the next election. Do you still have that view, or do you think, given what the polls are showing, that it is looking shaky now for Albanese and that Dutton could win?
Well, at this stage of the political cycle, you wouldn't expect him to be doing too well, but he's got to start turning those numbers around in the next, say, 3 or 4 months. And I'm confident he'll do that. He knows how to do it. He's done it before. And I think he'll be able to do it again. Albo's, still a boy from Marrickville, grew up in the single-bedroom flat with an impoverished mother. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think I'll ever forget listening to him talk about those days. He understands what it is to struggle. He really does.
You said he's done it before, but when? When's he done it before? Because not when he was fighting Scott Morrison. Scott Morrison's polling numbers were shocking.
Yeah, but I mean, all you can do when you're an opposition leader is do better than your opposing figure. And I think it was generally agreed that by the end of the Morrison reign, Albo was getting on top of him. And I think he was. I think the history shows it.
No, I'm disagreeing that he's never made a comeback like this. I don't think he can. What do you think, Michael?
Well, look at it this way. Malcolm Fraser turned it around in 1980 but couldn't in 83. John Howard turned it around in 2004 but couldn't in 2007. Keating turned it around in 93 but couldn't in 96. Morrison turned it around in 19 but couldn't in 22. Albo didn't turn it around in 22, and I don't think he'll turn it around in 25.
All right, Graham Richardson, Michael Kroger, thank you both very much for your time. We'll see you next Wednesday.